Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Nichols, and this is Talk of the Monarchy. And this is our guest, Ed Lucas. And you're probably wondering what's happened to the video. We were talking too much. We hadn't seen each other enough, enjoying each other's company and chewing the fat. And unfortunately, the microphones stopped working. They ran out of battery. So the last bit of the video cut out around 33 minutes. We caught most of the good stuff. However, there were some questions that people had posted in on socials, onto some of our posts, and it's only fair that we answer those questions. So thank you for finding some time. It's very much appreciated. And I'm sure you agree that if these guys have asked questions, it's only fair that we get them answered.
Absolutely, yeah. Also, thanks for having me back. And
Pleasure,
yes,
mate.
it's been a really nice experience listening back to the first couple of episodes. So yeah, thanks for having me on. Full stop, and thanks to anybody who's listened so far.
Yeah, mate, it's been great. Loads of positive feedback. I've spoke to you before we started recording about what that feedback's been, but it's been great. Some awesome numbers on the first episode, like into the 70s, which is amazing. And the second one's been out for a week or so. And when I looked earlier, I think, again, we're in the 30s already. And that was just on YouTube. I didn't even look at the Spotify numbers. So
Great. Well,
we have...
congratulations.
Yeah, no, mate, it's been awesome. I've loved it. It's been great. We've got some more guests lined up, which is going to be awesome. It's been an absolute pleasure to do with you. I am going to kick this off, though, my friend. One of the questions that didn't get answered before our microphone issue, or my microphone issue, was from Matt Musgrove. And his question is, what do you find the most rewarding as a gym owner, and your reasons why?
Good question. And there's reward in everything, like, and little pieces of it to be found in so many different day-to-day tasks or month-to-month tasks or whatever it might be. I think it always comes back to when people have been training with us for a little while, they go and do something that they haven't done for a little while from their day-to-day life, maybe go on holiday, do an activity, play a sport, whatever it might be, and they come back and they say it was easy or it was so much easier. And I'm just like, yeah, I know.
I love that.
Just hearing that their experience or their experience of doing that thing has been enhanced, made easier, or whatever by a greater, like a higher level of GPP, or general physical preparedness, is that is it for me. There's a really good example of that. Well, there's a couple of really good examples of that from our gym. I'm not going to name names. There's a guy who told me he no longer has to get off his bike to cycle up the hill to his house. It's like, awesome, like easily measurable. There's a retired couple in their 60s and 70s who, when they go on holiday, they used to have to, carrying the tent from their car used to be a 2-person job, and he's now able to carry it on his own. And yeah. It's like those kinds of like real life application things. That's what I find the most rewarding.
That's what CrossFit prepares you for. If you ask Rye White why he loves CrossFit, he's like, it prepares me for a zombie apocalypse. I'll be strong enough to fight one off, and I can also run really fast. Yeah. But he's like, I can also run and get away from one. And if I need to muscle up into a tree, I can, to stop them from getting me. So I'm like, yeah, it definitely prepares you for everyday life. And I think that's really well highlighted in your answer.
Yeah, there may be, maybe not the most exciting things, but like what's more, I guess, on a macro level, what's more exciting than like day-to-day life being easy or being well prepared?
Mate, and I think what's a really great answer is you notified or mentioned the retired couple. 20 years ago, he could carry the tent. Over the last 20 years, that tent's got heavier and heavier and heavier, and then became a 2-person job. And now you've managed to reverse back time in terms of how he feels and how responsive his body is. That's unbelievable. I'm not someone who's old, but I am older than you. And the thing that probably drives me on is I'm relatively strong, relatively fit. I never want that to go. And how can I stay like this forever?
Yeah. Well, have you heard this concept that goes around a lot at the moment called the centenarian decathlon? It's like, what are the 10 things you'd like to be able to do in your last decade, or what activities do you still want to be able to perform? And I'm not talking about the ring muscle up, but perhaps being able to perform an acceptable clean and jerk, like not with a crazy weight or anything like that, but just be able to perform a squat clean and a split jerk into your 80s or something like that. Like, how cool would that be?
Mate, unbelievable. I mean, I love to snatch, and I would love for my body to remain as healthy and strong as possible, that I can do that till my last days. I see some people who are 60 behave like they're 90, in terms of, or their body behave like it's 90, not stick or something along those lines. And honestly, that scares me. I, and then I see 70-year-olds who are running and lifting weights, and like literally like just sharpen the brain, sharpen the body. And I want to be that for as long as is possible. And it is why I intend to train until I choke it.
Hey, yeah, go out, doing something you love on the bench.
Yeah, 100. Yeah. How did you die? Dropped 150 on my chest, but it was a good way to go.
Yeah, straight out of the rack, gone. 85 years old.
Yes, mate. Love it. Ed, mate, thank you very much for the answer to Muzzy's question. I've got one from Dan Hibbard. And I know we touched on this in episode 1, but it'll be a good opportunity for a little bit of a recap for anyone listening to episode 3 that maybe forgot what was in the first episode. How did you first get involved in CrossFit? And can you pinpoint the moment where you're like, fuck, I'm hooked. Like, I'm doing this forever.
Yeah, this has got me.
Yeah.
First got involved in CrossFit, I guess, it 2 separate ways. One as an accessory program for rugby, and then just as like a lot of other people do, is like a general fitness program to try and work around a neck and shoulder injury that I had from playing rugby. The journey was not linear, in the sense that I had to scale and adapt a lot of workouts around being really deconditioned, and also around my injury, as my left arm didn't work as well as my right arm. The moment in the first year, like, I was into it, and it was mostly for, like, I wanted to lose a bit of weight, I wanted to be fitter, I wanted to feel better in myself. But I was doing it as an exercise program, and I was doing it for extrinsic reasons. Then I think the tipping point was, let me just make sure that I don't get the number of this workout wrong. 14.5 in the open, which is a repeat of 14.5.
Yeah.
21 down to 3 thruster bar facing burpee. In 2016, I'd had a go at a couple of the workouts in the open, just for a bit of fun, really. I hadn't signed up or anything like that. And then the final week came around, and I did 15.5 on the Friday. Had a go, went reasonably well. Thrusters, and there's no skill involved in that. So in my first year, there was nothing like no gymnastics or anything like that to hold me back. I had another go on the Monday and shaved like 6.5 minutes off my time. I was just absolutely bathing in lactic acid, and I was sore for 4 or 5 days afterwards. And I just remember being laid out on my back after having finished it. And like, I don't want this to come across the wrong way, but like, I'd beaten a few of the people at the gym around me that had been doing CrossFit a lot longer, and it just lit this like fire in me that was like, I was just like, fuck yeah, CrossFit, this is it now. I want to do CrossFit because of CrossFit, not because I'm like, I want to lose weight, or not because I want to feel better or anything. It's like, this is my sport now.
Yeah. Mate, yeah, I love it. And I think I see it in people. I can probably spot it within about a session or 2 sessions. And I'll say to someone, you're going to be here in a year. And I said, if you keep moving like you're moving, trust me, I can see you looking at everyone else thinking, I want to do that. That's fucking cool. And if you put the hours in, I said, it's the most rewarding sport. But it is time, effort, repeated over consistency. You'll get all the rewards you need.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah, you're totally right.
No one comes in and does bar muscle ups day one or double unders. Do you know what I mean? But if you practice them, you'll get them, and the reward at the end. And do you know what I often see is when someone gets that PB and that buzz, something above their head that they've never had, but they can stand there at the top and go, I love it. When people get their first muscle up, however they get up there and they get there at the top, it might be in a comp and they're buzzing. And like, yeah, that is the feeling. That's what makes all the hours worth it. For those milliseconds of how good it feels.
Yeah. For every training session where you get one of those, or for every workout where you get one of those as well, there's 50 where you get something bad. So like it's really worth like clinging on
Yeah.
to the good moments, you know, because there's just as many,
Yeah,
or
mate,
maybe 10
I
times
fully
as many
agree.
when you'll come away from the gym with like torn up hands, and you know you've been smoked at the workout by everybody around you. So cling on to the good ones.
Yeah, mate, I fully agree. So, Ed, I've got 1, 2, 3. I've probably got 5 more questions, but these came from the Golden Valley community because they came through your like membership base, one of your
Hmm.
Discords or Facebook pages. So I don't have their names, so I'm going to apologize. But if I read the question, that might jog your memory, and please feel free to give them a shout out for their question coming in.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
So the first one is, if you could use one piece of your gym equipment for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
This question was from Rach Rankin. Thanks, Rach. There are it's really hard to choose one piece of equipment. I think I can't give two answers. That's such a cop out. So what I'm going to say, I'm going to say a 24 kilo kettlebell, with the assumption that all body weight movements and running and stuff like that are still on the table as well.
Yeah, you can do a lot with the kettlebell.
For sure. Yeah. And
I've done some Marcus Philly workouts with just a kettlebell, and it has been savage.
yeah, that'll do the job. And also, like, I know you can replicate a lot of the movements you can do with a kettlebell with a dumbbell, but doing them with the kettlebell requires much more skill. Like,
Yeah,
for example, the kettlebell snatch versus the dumbbell snatch is a totally different ball game. And then you can get into, you know, some of the more, I guess, niche kettlebell training movements like your windmills and your Turkish get-ups and all that kind of stuff. So, like, the world's your oyster, really. I also just love
we
a
have
kettlebell
Turkish
swing.
get-ups in tonight's FST workout, and they've come up the
Wicked.
last couple of weeks in the program. I love a Turkish get-up. There's some like guy on YouTube. He's like in his 50s, and he's doing it with like a 36 kg kettlebell, and he's making them look like they are nothing. And I'm like, I wish I was
Have you
like
got a
that.
1 rep max Turkish get-up?
Mine, I haven't tried to find one, but I was comfortably using a 24 the other day for reps, so I would guess maybe a 32.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
maybe 28.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
28. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to try over the week, and then I'm going to come back to you. What about you?
Yeah, go find a 1RM Turkish get-up. We've got a 40 kilo kettlebell and it only comes out on that day. With
Yeah.
the exception of when you might use it for a suitcase carry or if you needed to hold a door open or something like that. I can Turkish get up the 40, but
Yeah,
I
nice,
would
bro.
like to have a heavier one because I reckon I might have a little bit more in me. But like shoulder positioning and stability in the shoulders is something that comes quite naturally to me. So the Turkish get up is something I gravitate towards quite well.
Yeah,
It's
nice.
also like
Awesome.
I really like them. So lockdown, I did hundreds of them. In fact, I remember doing
Max did it.
100 Turkish get-ups for time in my kitchen, where the ceiling isn't actually tall enough for me to lock out a kettlebell overhead. So every time I got
And
into
it's
the lunge
bent.
position, I'd have to bring it to a front rack to then stand up and then go back down, and I'd sort of like windmill press it back into position again and return. So yeah, 100 times. That was fun.
Yeah, mate. Well, we all did. Well, some of us did lots of crazy things in lockdown. Some of us drank beers. I did both. I did both.
Yeah,
Balance.
likewise.
Balance.
Good times.
I have another.
What bit of kit would you choose?
I would choose an Olympic barbell. I would choose an Olympic barbell. I love to squat. I love to bench. I love to strip press. I love to snatch. I would curl with one
All right.
as well.
You're only allowed to take 2 plates. Which ones are you taking?
For the barbell, well, it's got to be 25s, but that wouldn't be heavy enough.
Yeah, no, for a lot of things it wouldn't, but then for a lot of other things it would be far too heavy.
Yeah, but I would go with the 25 arm curls, then just the 20 bar. Do you know what I mean? So I could get a superset in just to get a pump on. I'd be able to tricep extension, all of that. But yeah, you're right. The back squat, the bench, the deadlift, even the snatch, clean and jerk, it wouldn't be heavy enough. I need a little bit more. But I'd still go with Olympic bar, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think for me. Next question. And this is obviously there must be some like internal conversation, or this has come from Claire potentially. Do you prefer crumpets or bagels? This feels like it's a personal question. Are you poo-pooing on one of these, or you just love both?
There's a backstory. He did a nutrition challenge with Coach Lewis. Shout out the Food Coach UK. helped us out with like a few of us bought in, and we did like a month of food tracking. We tested a workout at the beginning and at the end, and we had a weekly check-in call with Lewis, and it was really cool. It was really eye-opening to get a supported food tracking experience for a lot of people who'd never done it before. And also, what was really
Lewis is
cool about
great.
it was
We worked with him.
And also, what was really cool about it was that we did it in a group. Lewis is great. He is my nutrition coach currently. And the cool thing I think about doing it in a group rather than one-to-one in a lot of ways was the same group accountability you get from like a CrossFit class or something like that. So that worked really well. But this sparked the debate as to which is the superior pre-training bread-based snack. And it is either a crumpet or a bagel. It's became surprisingly tribal, took over the whole gym. And when it came to the open, we even did a crumpets versus bagels intramural. So divided the whole gym into two teams to crown the superior carby snack. Team Bagel won in terms of points, but I think the jury's out on which is actually better. The one I ate most recently was a crumpet, if that counts with a recency bias. But like, you can't go for like salt beef crumpets anywhere, and you can't go for like a smoke. Oh, I guess you could have a smoked salmon cream cheese crumpet. So like, which one am I more likely to have in my house and eat day to day? It's a crumpet. But like, which one do I actually think is a more enjoyable dining experience once it's all brought to life? Bagel. I choose bagel.
Yeah, I was thinking about it as you're answering, and I eat more crumpets. And I had crumpets yesterday with loads of Biscoff spread, and it was unbelievable. They are great, but if I could only eat if I had to eat one for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a week, I'd choose the bagel because of the how versatile it is. Yeah, and like you said, a bit of salt beef, cheese, some kind of chutney. That's not really going on a crumpet for me. It's more sweet based stacks, jams, and stuff. So my answer to the question pre-training is crumpet with something sweet. If I had to eat it for a week, which is a different type of question, then bagel. So I'm kind of sitting on the fence.
Yeah. Plus, I can eat a couple crumpets like 30 minutes before training, and I don't feel any like, there's a lot of other foods that if you eat them that close to working out, it just doesn't work. Whereas they're a safe bet.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm definitely with you. We have got 3 more questions to go, my friend. So again, appreciate you for your time. What has been the most valuable piece of advice you've been given by a coach? So this was from one of your guys. I don't know if you remember who asked the question. If you do, then please give him a shout out. And then, yeah, if you were to reflect, your most valuable piece of advice you've been given by a coach.
This is from my good friend Ollie Staff. I think the most valuable, again, there's a recency bias for this one. The most valuable piece of advice I've been given by a coach was from Coach Fraser Lyons on the gymnastics course recently. We hosted the course at Golden Valley CrossFit, and most of our coaching team took part. Fraser's a really impressive guy and delivered a fantastic course. So there were knowledge bombs all over the place, but one that's really stuck with me and has enhanced my training and my strength greatly recently is to not use gymnastics grips.
Really good piece of advice. And Coach Rye is very similar with what your Fraser says. Is he actually will prefer that you only use grips for the WOD, and everything we do warming up is without your grips being on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or even like only pull them out when the open's on, pull them out when you've got a comp to go to or something like that. Like they're a competitive aid, not a training tool. And if you look at your training as like day to day, as like why would you have a piece of fabric grip the pull-up bar for you when instead you could train your hands to do it? And if you get the grip mechanics right, like since that course, my hands haven't torn once, and I haven't been using. In fact, I used grips on 2 occasions, and both times I came away with shoulder pain. But if I train without them, and also if I don't butterfly pull up, I don't get any shoulder pain. So once you can, here's I guess there's 2 prongs to this. Don't use grips all the time. Use them when you need them. And number 2 is once you learn how to butterfly pull up, don't then neglect the gymnastic kip pull up or the gymnastic kip chest to bar pull up, because you need to train that kip for your muscle ups and for other stuff, but also like butterfly pull ups are actually really kind of bad for your shoulders if you do them badly and if you do them all the time. So if you mix and match between the 2, I have found in my experience that my shoulders are much, much healthier.
Yeah, nice. Great bit of advice as well, and a great takeaway for the guys listening to this. Two more questions, Ed. So, if you started fresh as an affiliate owner, is there anything you would do differently?
Yes, I would only offer one membership price.
Yeah, sensible.
It would be membership costs X, everyone pays the same. Come as much as you want. If you want to do 2 times a week, 3 times a week, 6 times a week, it's up to you, but here's how much it costs. And I
Yeah,
think that would
I
create.
think
Go on.
no. I think that's a great a great answer, and I think we touched on this when we did it at the time. And I think CrossFit Bath have one price or maybe two prices, and I think it's a great model to go down. We have a couple, we have two, um, but I also agree. I think that's one thing. If I started again tomorrow, this is the price, and everyone pays the same, rather than any sort of OG pricing and things along those lines. It's tough because you don't really know what you don't know until you're a
Yeah.
bit experienced. But I think it's a really really good answer. Is there anything else that jumps out?
Just to touch on, well, just to go a little further down that route, we started with 3 prices. We now offer 2. And what I don't like about the limited attendance package is essentially you're selling people the opportunity to be inconsistent with their training. Our lower tier membership is 10 classes a month, so roughly 2 a week. I would argue that that's not enough for you to be getting the full value out of a CrossFit training program. Because if you come twice a week, you could end up, if with an unlucky roll of the dice, especially if you attend on the same 2 days, you could go months without doing a heavy day, or months without doing a clean and jerk, or whatever it might be. So you're not getting the variance or the exposure to coaching, or whatever it might be. So obviously, I know not everybody wants those things, and that's fine. But like I wish if those conversations came up and somebody said to me, "But I only want to come twice a week," I'd say, "Well, go for it. You're free to do that. Here's the price."
Yeah, fair.
And the reason I was going to do that on day one, I was adamant that we should do that. And I had a conversation with Jack, my former business partner, and Cameron, who was our accountant, is still my accountant, and he's a member at the gym. And he said to me, if people are willing to pay almost as much money but attend less, you'd be stupid not to let them. And it's very savvy business advice, but you don't know, like you said, you don't know what you don't know. And what I now know is that although that might be a great business decision, that's not the way I want to run my affiliate.
And
But
I
it's too
think
late.
you also, well, yeah, you can obviously make changes, and there can be some pushback to changes. But I think you probably know, for someone to become a long-term member, be engaged with your membership base, they need to probably see and feel improvement. And realistically, you need 3 sessions a week to get the benefits of that. So 2 probably isn't enough. Uh, it's exactly what we touched on, right? At the time, you're thinking about paying the bills, keeping the gym open, more importantly, and all the rest of that good stuff. So money coming in is money coming in. But I think that's probably one of the things you learn in this sort of industry is you're not a millionaire from doing this. All of your costs are quite tight, so sometimes you do make decisions based on just finances, and that means if someone wants to pay for 2, you let them, even though ideally you want to see them for 3, so you can coach them more, have more effect on their health and fitness, see their confidence grow. And in turn, they will buy into what you're delivering for longer, which means obviously the return on investment from that person is greater.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Your other question, is there anything else that sticks out?
Yeah.
Yes. And this is not just something for the gym, but it's also something for me personally. It's to give less of a shit about what other people think. And I'm not talking about the people in my affiliate. I give an unending amount of shit about what those people think. But I was sort of craving approval from people that I knew in the CrossFit space, and like I wanted people to know, like I assumed that people were doubting me when we opened Golden Valley CrossFit, and I wanted to prove those people wrong. And actually now I don't give a fuck about what those people think. Like I like them, but like their opinion doesn't affect what happens inside my gym at all. So really I would have spent less time thinking about that and more time thinking, how do I better serve the members at this gym?
Yeah, I think that's fair, mate. You're also a completely different age and experience and life experience and all the rest of it. back then you weren't thinking about keeping the light, or you probably were, but not to the extent that you have at other times, keeping the lights on, cleaning the toilets, buying more kit, what price to charge things, how to get numbers up, blah, blah, blah. As your brain becomes so busy with all these other things that you have to care about, you can't choose not to, you quickly stop giving a fuck about the noise outside.
Yeah.
It's a blessing.
Yeah. Doesn't mean
Yeah.
doesn't mean I like the people I wanted to impress any less. I just don't really
No,
mind
no.
whether or not I impress them.
Mate, I would, a piece of advice that if it doesn't matter what walk of life you're in, most people should try and adopt that. And I assure you that they'll probably be a lot happier and care a lot less about unimportant shit. Ed, we've got one more. Oh, in fact, actually, do you know who asked that question? So if you started fresh as an affiliate owner, is there anything you know you do differently? Do you know who asked you that in the gym?
Anna Fernando. Shout out Anna.
Lovely. Anna gets a shout out. Thank you. Last question. What is the one thing you tell new members to help them on their journey? So when you get a newbie through the door and they're possibly feeling a bit nervous and stuff, what's that sort of one go-to thing that you tell a new member to help them along their time in CrossFit and at Golden Valley? Do you know who answered that? Give them a shout out, and then when you're ready to answer, that'd be awesome.
Actually, this might be from Anna.
Okay.
Either way, Anna asked one of those questions, and I have forgotten who the other person was. So I just want to say I'm really sorry. I think
if they're listening to this and they didn't get a shout out, make sure you give Ed some shit.
yeah. I'm sorry. There are lots of things that I tell new people at the start. Lots of affirmation, lots of support, all that type of stuff. Like, but what the key thing is, if you catch them in that moment where we always try to scale new people's workouts back a lot so that they have a moment at the end of the workout, especially if it's like a task priority workout where like everyone else is still working and they've got a bit of time to like, they've already finished, but they can just sort of like watch how other people are moving. And I think that's really, really effective. If I can see that moment happening, in fact, what I will do is I will make a beeline for them and I will say, what you're looking at here is the product of consistency. So like at some point, all of these people were in your shoes and all of these people were like doing their first workout or training with us for their first week or something like that. But
yeah,
you're looking at somebody doing muscle ups over there, somebody doing handstand push-ups over there, somebody snatching body weight over there, whatever it might be. It's like, but that is the product of like 5 years of showing up 3 to 5 times a week. That is the product of a decade of showing up 3 to 5, whatever it might be. So just like none of these things are unrealistic for you. You just have to keep showing up.
Yeah, mate, and do you know what? As you were saying that, I'm quietly confident that kind of happens anyway, and new people do get obviously a bit more attention just to make sure that they're moving correctly and right, and you're obviously overloading them with lots of information and structure to a class and lots of things that they've never had before. So they get some extra, at least extra eyes, even if it's not necessarily standing next to them for the workout. But I really like what you said there about, I scale it back purposely so they probably finish first so they can take a minute to be like, yeah, that's quite cool. But they are still all kind of doing something different. But how you're feeling is how he's feeling on the muscle ups, and how you're feeling is how she's feeling on the handstand push up. So that's really smart, really clever. Possibly something I might steal, my friend.
Do it. Yeah, it works.
Mate.
It doesn't always work though, because sometimes you'll say to people like, yeah, hey, I want you to keep like a pace where you could maintain a conversation with me if you needed to. So like, we're going to take this one real easy. You'll walk out of the gym today feeling like you could have handled a lot more. And they're like, no. I'm going to go to war on the air bike. And I'm just like, you get it, dude.
Enjoy it. That's the most important. Yeah, mate. Yeah, love it.
Yeah. But not everybody's up for that.
No, and I usually find it's the guys, right? You've got to leave a little bit of ego. They come in with their friend. They want to do what he's doing or he's doing or she's doing. It's my female members that come in with their friends. They're a little bit more happy to just sort of go with it. It's usually the chaps that, want to have a little bit of a cock off, and then especially if it's something that's non-technical, push the most, but heaviest dumbbell, whatever.
Yeah, I'm going to talk in very broad brushstrokes for a moment, but one of the things I've realized is the greatest difference in coaching beginner males and beginner females in the CrossFit space is with females, you have to give them the platform and help them build themselves up to know that they're as capable as they actually are. Because like so often it's like, that'll be too heavy for me, or it's like, I don't think I could do that, and it's like, go for it, you're really capable, like I want this for you, do it. And then with blokes, you've got to let them break themselves down against like, I can do that. And it's like, no, you're not that guy. So yeah, that's one of the biggest
But I
learnings
100%.
that I've experienced.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. It is often, instilling that little bit of confidence in some of the female membership base about what they can achieve. I had one of our members, her name's Flo. She's been with the gym maybe 3-4 months. She's great, and she was feeling a little bit exhausted at the end of a workout, and she was feeling a bit low energy at the end, like she hadn't achieved something. And I said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "Well, I don't know. I'm just not feeling as fit as usual." And I said, "Flo, your first workout, you sat on a box taking gasps of air. Do you know what I mean? For minutes, whilst going to the water fountain at every opportunity you could to rest." I said, "You've just done a whole workout. I've watched you. You've not stopped. Now, sure, you might not have had enough fluids today, or you might have had a hard week and you maybe didn't eat lunch, which is why you're feeling the way you're feeling." I said, "But your improvement is amazing. And more importantly, you finished it. There's still a couple of minutes to go." Do you know what I mean? Like, ease off. Don't give yourself such a hard time. But no, mate, I think, yeah, I think,
Well
like you
done,
said,
Flo.
yeah, she's great. Honestly, mate, she's great. Her and her partner Phil, they're a really nice couple, and they've joined, the Monarch community and fitted right in, which is great. I think we're wrapped up, my friend. Again, absolute pleasure. Really, really enjoyed it. And also you enjoyed just jumping on and finishing off the podcast officially, but also chewing the fat at the very beginning, as we always do. We will have you on again, of course. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope your members at Golden Valley have seen maybe another side to you, or got some questions answered. But I hope they've also enjoyed it. It's got loads of rave reviews from our team and our socials, whether that's TikTok or Instagram. So yeah, I just want to say thank you very much for being a guest. It's been an absolute pleasure from my part.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a complete pleasure for me as well.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Well, guys, that is everything for our chat with Ed. Everything is available on YouTube and Spotify, and I will make an announcement on our socials at the weekend about our next guest. So stay tuned. Thanks very much.